A puff of steam curled up from Twilight's mouth as she stood in front of the family's old charcoal grill. Nix was standing back with Cadence in the shallow blanket of snow, waiting for the promised warm fire. The log Nix had picked out from Lumberjack's emporium sat where the charcoal was supposed to go. Twilight had removed the metal bars you were supposed to cook farm on. Now the grill was nothing more than a high-standing metal fire pit. "Okay, here we go," Twilight said as she took a few steps back. A small pop of magic from her horn, and the log was wrapped in warm, crimson flames. But soon, after starting to burn, the flames began to change color. Most of the flames turned white, while some became a bright festive red. Next and Cadence came behind Twilight, all of them drawing close to a fire and enjoying the warmth on their faces. "It's a nice fire," Cadence commented as he watched the streaks of red curl and mix with the white. Then she took in a deep breath, smiling as a fresh, minty scent floated through her nostrils. "It smells even kind of nice, like a candy cane." "That's why I picked it," Nick said. "It reminded me of a piece of candy Twist gave me when I really need it." "What do you mean?" Twilight began to ask, only to see Nick snap her head to one side and focus her ears forward. "Do you hear something?" Cadence and Twilight looked in the same direction as Nick's, ears standing erect as they listened closely. The yard was still, a smooth blanket of snow. There were a few mounds here and there where the snow had drifted into a pile, but otherwise it was pristine. "Wait, I think I hear it too," Cadence said as she began to smile. She turned her head up and tilted a little. "It sounds like bells." Twilight nodded, pointing with a hoof. "Must be coming from the bell tower at the castle. Those are the biggest and loudest bells in all of Canterlot. I bet they are playing carols like they do every year." Twilight smiled and nodded a second time. "Yeah, can you hear it? They're playing the heartwarming carol. 'The fire of friendship lives in our hearts. As long as it burns, we shall not drift apart.'" Cadence giggled and lowered her head down to Nix's level. She spoke into the filly's ear, but loud enough to be sure Twilight was heard as well. "Twilight has a thing for bells." "I do not have a thing for bells," Twilight defended. "A thing for bells would imply I have an unhealthy or unnatural obsession with them. No, I enjoy bells, particularly around this time of year." "Why's that?" "To me, bells represent the spirit of the season," Twilight said as she smiled. She closed her eyes and tilted her head back so she could hear the music more easily. "A single bell ringing doesn't make music. It's only when a bunch of different kinds of bells, big and small, come together that they can make music. They play the carols, and it's like the sky and wind are singing along." "It's just like the heartwarming legend," Twilight continued. "Not one kind of pony could have made this kingdom. It was only when all three tribes worked together that Equestria was born. Different kinds, big and small, coming together to face adversity in the name of peace and harmony." "That is about the only instrument you know how to play," Cadence teased. "I can play other things," Twilight protested as he scowled in the direction of her old foes there. "Really? Name something else." "I can sing." "Doesn't count." "I can play the triangle, too," Twilight said. "Ding!" Cadence rolled her eyes as a small chuckle escaped her lips. "Okay, Twilight, whatever you say." Nix joined in the giggles as well. And soon Twilight was pulled in as well as he realized how silly she was acting. The trio shared the laugh before going back to watching the canter coiffure burn, listening to the ringing of bells on her wind. "Girls!" Nightlight called. "We're ready!" Twilight looked over her shoulder and shouted, "Okay, we're coming!" "Go ahead and take Nix inside. I'll put out the fire," Cadence said. "You sure?" "Yeah, it'll only take a minute." Twilight didn't need to be told twice. She and Nix quickly retreated back into the warm house. At the same time, Cadence approached the grill, pondering a moment how to best put out the fire. In the end, she settled on using a bit of magic. She wrapped the log and its flames in an airtight bubble, then waited patiently as the fire burned through its supply of oxygen. Soon, only glowing embers remained, and Cadence nodded in satisfaction before she closed the lid on the grill and jogged back inside the house. Nightlight sniffed at his mug of hot coffee, drawing in the sweet aroma before he looked out over the rest of his family. The perfectly stat, yet unlit fireplace was waiting for a small spark. Before that, Nightlight cleared his voice and began speaking with a smile. The fire could not be lit without a speech. "For those who don't know, a tradition that's been passed down from my father and grandfather is that on the night before Heartswarming Eve, the family comes together to light a traditional heartswarming fire. A fire we enjoy on this peaceful night before all the festivities, pageants, and parties we'll be enjoying over the next few days. This year, I'm glad to welcome two new ponies to our home for this tradition. First, my son's beautiful and caring wife. Many know her only as Princess Miyamori Cadenza, but we know her as Cadence. Best full sitter and best daughter-in-law this family could have if I ever asked for. Hear, hear! Spike shouted as Cadence blessed and nuzzled into Shining Armor's neck. He in turn smiled and planted the gentlest of kisses on her forehead, while everybody else looked on with smiles. I'm also happy to welcome Nyx, Nightlight said, looking over the filly's direction. She gave us all quite a scare earlier this year, but it's heartwarming it's a time to forgive and forget. It's a time for earth ponies, unicorns, pegasi, and alicorns to come together in the spirit of harmony. So, let's all come together and warm our stomachs with hot chocolate, warm our hopes with this fire, and warm our hearts with friendship and harmony. Cheers! Cheers! Every pony said back to back, as to Nightlight, as they lifted their mugs of hot chocolate. At the same time, Nightlight turned, and with a flick of his horn, set a small fire spell at the heart of his carefully stacked logs. The fire grew quickly, and the wood began to burn. The amber flames began to turn a festive pink, perfectly mimicking the fabled fire of friendship from the heartwarming story. Beautiful as always, Nightlight, Phyllis said as her husband sat down beside her on the couch. The pair snuggled beneath a blanket together. Thank you, honey, he said before giving her a gentle kiss. The family then settled in to enjoy a cozy evening by the fire. The hot chocolate was sweet and warm in their mouths, and the cookies were a delight. Nothing needed to be said. No games needed to be played. It was a time to sit, relax, and rest. That is, until Nightlight glanced up and saw a tower of pink fire in their backyard. Go ahead and take Nyx inside. I'll put out the fire. You sure? Yeah, it'll only take a minute. Kate suffocated the fire a few moments later, and, with a small thunk, pulled the door to shut the house behind her. The backyard of the house became still. The only sound was distant ringing of bells, until there was a shifting sound. Crunching and cracking of snow being crushed under a hoof began to dance on the wind. Then, from beneath the blanket of snow in the backyard, a pair of mouths began to rise up. Colin pushed a hoof through the snow and quickly crawled back to the surface. He shook off the snow that stuck to him. Every inch of his body was protected from the cold by the winter clothes. Jacket, snow pants, boots, ski mask, and goggles make him look like a pony about to face the tundra of the frozen north. Colin wasn't alone either. The other mound of snow had begun to rise up in the backyard was Quicksnap. He was dressed similarly, through the addition of wing mittens. That was close, Colin whispered, as he began to move slowly towards the family's house. He then chuckled, looking back at the snow as he cast his magic across it. The hoofprints he was leaving began to pop back up, as if the snow ever been stepped on. By Celestia, I love it when it snows. You know what I would love? Hot chocolate! A gallon of it! Quicksnap complained, as he ruffled his muffin-covered wings. Sweet moon, I got snow in my coat. Shh! Colin said, looking back over his shoulder and glaring at Quicksnap. You want to blow our cover? Yes! Quicksnap snapped quickly. Colin, we've been out here for hours. We had to dive into the snow when those mares came out. For what? We haven't learned anything new about that filly! Didn't you hear them? Weren't you listening? No, I wasn't. I kind of had snow in my ears. The filly's name is Nyx. Colin stressed, put a smile on his face. When a reporter has a name, he could do research. We could check the school registries for Ponyfield. Then we could check the government logs for publicly filed documents. Oh, I could think of someone's start. Yes, now let's do that, in a nice warm office, Quicksnap said as he trotted back beside Colin. We will in a bit. Colin assured as he continued to move toward the house. I want to listen to what they're saying for a little longer. Quicksnap groaned, but he knew he wasn't going to win the argument. Colin already cast an eavesdropping spell, and was standing by the back door as he listened to the family. This left the half-frozen Quicksnap to his own devices, and after shivering in the snow for a few moments, his eyes were drawn to the grill. Trotting over, Quicksnap saw the piece of wood the mares had been burning. It was still largely intact, and could still see some glowing embers. It was a blessing, and Quicksnap gingerly flapped his wings over the little log. The embers glowed brighter with each flap, and, with a triumphant smile, Quicksnap got the fire burning again. Oh, sweet warmth, he whispered, as he held his host to the fire, only for the log to suddenly be levitated out of the grill. What do you think you're doing? Colin snapped as he held the burning wood in his magic, trying to prevent myself from getting frostbite. You idiot, they'll see the light. Then I'll move the grill away from the windows. Come on, Colin, Quicksnap begged. I can't feel my wings! You're such a newbie. No, I'm putting out this fire right now! He said as he turned and hugged a piece of wood over his shoulder. He had been aiming for a deep bank of snow in the yard, then dazzling to douse a small log, and Sir Quicksnap he couldn't relight it. but instead of sinking into the snow, the logs bounced with a metallic thunk. The divot in the snow, left behind by the log, revealed a metal bar. The log had bounced off a lawn chair that had been left to suffer in the elements, got buried in the snow. That one bounce sent the log flying towards something else in the yard. The stack of firewood the family had brought for housewarming. The small log fell at the foot of the logs and rolled beneath the tarp that had been placed over the logs to keep them dry. The tarp was the ignition. The material made was good for keeping moisture away from the logs, but very flammable. The tarp caught fire with a flash. It wasn't long before those intense flames began to spread to the logs the tarp had been protecting. The fire shifted color from a brilliant orange to a perfect heart-warming pink. The flames began to stretch higher and higher as the fire burned harder and harder. The door to the house slammed open, making Quick snap and Colin jump. The first coming out the door was Nightlight. He was looking on in panic as his jaw hung agape. He ran straight towards the fire. Panicked eyes looking out at the flames. The cacophony of footsteps coming out of the back door made it clear the rest of the family wasn't far behind. In the moment of panic, Colin grabbed Quick snap and his magic and darted for the far side of the house. They ran while he cast a spell behind them, causing their tracks into the snow to pop back up. They left no trace and gone within moments, leaving the family to clean up the mess that they had created.